Hi guys, how you all doing? Hope you're doing well. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about my Morphe palette collection, just simply because I have recently stocked up on a lot of Morphe palettes. You know, it's just been over the past few months, I've just accumulated quite a few Morphe palettes. So I thought I would show you all of the Morphe palettes that I have. Okay, so the first palette I'm going to talk about is this, which is I think one of their most recent palettes, which is the Morphe 12S palette. And this is what it looks like here. And then when you just open it up, it comes with these gorgeous shades of golds and reds and bronzy tones. This is perfect for traveling. The only thing is that this is an all shimmer palette, so there's no like nice transition shades or anything, but the quality of the shadows are there. Morphe palette eyeshadow quality is, you know, is great. So yeah, here's just a couple of the shades swatch, and this is like their cheaper palette. I think in the UK this is about £14 or something. So yeah, if you want to try it out, then definitely try picking this up. But I do really like this palette, but again, it is a all shimmer palette, so just be aware of that. The next palette that I have from Morphe is the 35K palette, and this is, I think this is the coffee palette, I can't remember, but this is what it looks like basically. It's gorgeous. It's definitely one, if you are more of a cool tone brown shades kind of person, then you will like this. This palette I tend to reach for doing like crease shades and stuff, because obviously these are all dark tones, but then you do have some of like the lighter shimmers here at the bottom, and then like some of these grey tones, but this is definitely great for smoky eyes, etc. So definitely one that is really nice for that. So I'll just do some swatches. The matte shadows are beautiful. Here is one of their shimmers and this is one of their mattes, and it's those two bottom ones right there. But these are gorgeous eyeshadows, and I really like them. If you would like to see like a dedicated video on any of these particular eyeshadows, then just let me know and I will be happy to do so. Okay, the next Morphe palette that I'm going to show you is this one, which is gorgeous. This is their 35P palette. This is basically a plum purple palette. This is gorgeous. If you love your purple shades, eyeshadows, then definitely pick this up. You will not be disappointed with this palette. When I was oohing and ahhing about getting this palette, because I was just like, am I really going to ever use a purple palette? But then when this arrived, and I was speaking to some people and they like really love this palette, so when this arrived I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, now I know why everyone's raving about this palette. It is so stunning, guys. It is, oh gosh, this palette is gorgeous. Those two purples there, I just swatched. One is a matte color, which is this purple. It's this one here. Oh my gosh, this is like one of my favorite purples in the palette. Gorgeous. And then this one is a shimmer tone, which is this one here. It's gorgeous. They're shimmer tones. Some of them just come out looking like foiled eyeshadows. Can you see that? Oh, let's get closer so you can see. I had to do a close-up of that particular one because, oh my gosh, this purple eyeshadow is amazing. Like, especially this foiled one. Gosh, guys. So yeah, if you haven't got this palette, definitely I would say try picking it up, because it is one of my favorite and I love it. The next Morphe eyeshadow palette that I am going to show you is the 35 Warm palette, and I believe this is my first Morphe palette that I actually picked up. And yeah, I like it. This isn't my favorite, to be honest. I think this one was actually another one that was very popular. It has like a mixture of like browns and peaches and pinks and purples in it. I really love this shade here in the middle. This is like a camel shade. Oh, it is gorgeous, love that. So yeah, so I'll swatch that because I just really love it. And then which other shade should I swatch? Let me swatch this black because it's got some sparkle in it. Yeah, so these are the two colors there that I really love from that palette. Oh gosh, that camel shade, it is just gorgeous. Can you see that there? So it's just a beautiful color. Love that shade. So yeah, that palette is nice. Just don't think it is like, I mean everyone was hyping over it before Didn't really understand why. It's a nice palette, but not my favorite. My favorite is coming up soon though. Okay, the next palette I'm going to show you is this one, which is the 35T palette. And again, this is another one that's very, very popular. This is a really nice one. This is more like purple, goldish brown tones as well. This is really nice. This is, as it suggests, more taupe colors. So yeah, it is gorgeous as well. This one does sell out quite quickly as well. Let's do two shimmers. So that's what they look like. Some of their shades come out a bit chalky, you know, when you're using them, so just be aware of that. But yeah, and these are the two shades I just swatched from the palette. So those are gorgeous, gorgeous eyeshadows. Again, this is a really, really pretty eyeshadow palette. If you can get your hands on it, then definitely try and get your hands on that. Okay, last but not least, now this one I want to spend a bit more time talking about. This is the Morphe 35O palette, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I rave about this palette so much. I love, love, love this eyeshadow palette. If I were to ever create my own makeup line, this would be basically the types of palettes that you would see from my makeup line, just saying. But this is the 35O palette. Love the shades in this. This palette is so hyped up, and you know me, like if you watch me, you know that I will tell you the truth as to whether something is worth the hype or not. And I'm telling you now, guys, like this is worth the hype, okay? I know people hype it up. I know it sells out in like literally the blink of an eye when it goes on sale, and it's so annoying. But this is so worth the hype. If you can get your hands on it, definitely, definitely, definitely get your hands on it. If you're always thinking to yourself, I never know when it's out, just follow Morphe on Instagram, or follow any of the stockists, like people that stock this palette in the UK or wherever you're based. Follow them as well, because whenever they bring it out, they will basically announce it. And also, if you go on the website, you can actually join the waiting list or the wish list or waiting list, I can't remember what it is, and they will email you when it comes out. I love this palette. It has the oranges, it has like these peachy golds, it has the browns, it has the nude. Oh, it just is beautiful, beautiful eyeshadow palette. Let me do some swatches of some of the shades that I really just love in this palette. Here's one of the matte oranges in this, and here is one of the foiled oranges. Can you see that? Gorgeous. This eyeshadow palette is so pretty. It is so gorgeous. Now this palette, as I said, sells out so quickly, but recently, okay, I was browsing on Instagram, and I follow this company on Instagram called Bobel Cosmetics. I don't know how you pronounce it. I saw that they came out with a palette, an eyeshadow palette, and I was like, hold on a minute, that eyeshadow palette looks so familiar. Where have I seen that before? The palette was basically a dupe for, is a dupe for this 35O palette. But this is what it looks like, okay, on the outside. Now, first thing to note is that it is smaller than the Morphe palette, so you can see the difference between them there, okay? So it's not like an outright, you know, copy of Morphe, but the shades inside are close enough, you know? It's not 100%, you know, similar, but it's close enough. So this is the Bobel palette. It is gorgeous. Now the eyeshadow pans in this, okay, are definitely smaller than the Morphe pans that you get in the Morphe palette. So if I put them together, so that's them there together. Can you see that? So the Morphe pans are slightly bigger. So Morphe is on the top of this, if you're confused already. Okay, so Morphe is the top palette, and Bobel is this palette at the bottom. So that's Morphe at the top, and this is Bobel at the bottom. So you can see how similar they are. Now they're not 100% accurate in terms of, you know, their shading dupes, etc. And some of the finishes in the Morphe palette are different to the finishes in the Bobel palette. But I think this is close enough, you know? This Bobel palette actually retails for £14.95, and then you have to pay, obviously, shipping on top of that. It is a UK based company as well, so, you know, it's perfect. and they also sell brushes, etc. on their website, which I'm really intrigued about as well. So I'm going to just quickly do some comparison swatches. But if you want me to do a whole dedicated video on this palette, then just let me know, doing a comparison of both of these. So here is one of the most popular shades from Morphe, which is this shade in the corner, and I just swatched the equivalent to that, which is this shade here. So if you can see it, it's like that golden orange shade. So that one there and this one there. So as you can see, so this one here is Morphe, and then this one is the Dupe Cosmetics. One thing I will say is that the foiled shades are definitely more foiled in the Morphe palette than in the Dupe Cosmetics palette. That's the only thing I would say. So the quality of the shadows, I think, in Morphe are just slightly better in the Morphe palette than the Dupe one. However, that doesn't mean the Dupe one isn't a good palette, because the shades in this are actually really quite good. You know that matte orange that I swatched earlier? So let's swatch the matte orange in the Dupe. Okay, so you can see the two, they're just slightly different in shades, but that's generally what they look like. So that's the Dupe and that's the Morphe one there. So yeah, I mean, both are really good palettes, I think, personally. Some of the colors are different as well. Like the Morphe palette doesn't have any purples in it, but this palette you can definitely see that there are like these 3 shades at the top are actually more like purple browns, or like this is definitely a true purple, but these 2 are more like purple brown shades, whereas the Morphe palette doesn't have that in there. And then, you know, you have like some of these shimmer shades which are much lighter than the ones in the Morphe palette, and then some of the finishes in this palette are different, but the colors are similar, if that makes sense. So like, for example, this shade here, this is the Dupe palette, and this shade here is a shimmer finish, but in the Morphe palette it's a similar shade to this, but it's a matte. So, you know, that's the main difference between them, to be honest. But apart from that, I actually think this is quite a good palette, and you know, if you're interested in it, definitely check out Dupe Cosmetics. I don't know if it's sold out at the moment, but you can, I'm sure they're going to restock, because they didn't say it was limited edition or anything, so you can definitely check them out and see for yourself, but I'll put the link down below. Hopefully that was useful and you really enjoyed that, guys. Again, if you want me to do a dedicated video on the Morphe versus Dupe Cosmetics palette, then definitely let me know and I will be happy to film that. But yeah, hopefully this was useful. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Take care and see you soon. Bye. Ciao. We got a MAC lipstick in this box.